Jai Hind, dear learners. This is in continuation to the earlier session on guides and escorts. So this is the second session on guides and escorts. Now we will discuss about the special situations that a guide or an escort may face. The tour escort should invariably have the energy and courage to cope with special situations. Some of the more frequently encountered situations are as follows. Number 1, loss of money and passport. The most common complaint, we advise you to keep everyone's passport deposited under your custody for the duration of the tour. Also advise them to carry too much cash with their person. They should not carry too much of cash in their person and transact most of the business in traveler's checks or credit cards or through online payments. Then comes the sickness. Warn the tourist again, eating at sundry places, drinking unclean water, and weather vagaries such as heat stroke during summers or exposure to too much cold during the winters may bring in sickness. Then missing tour members. Take care that the tourists adhere to the schedule. They have to be persuasive and at times stern too. But under no situation even ever lose your cool. Now coming to handling the emergencies that a tour escort or a guide may face. Be proactive. That means anticipate the emergency and have rescue plans in mind, right? There may be various types of problems like say personal issues of the guests, illness, accident, theft, pickpocket, lost documents, case of teasing, case of sexual harassment. Then you may have travel related issues like lost ticket, missed train or bus or flight, lost luggage, tour related issues, then itinerary not completed, or maybe the guides are not professional, then attraction not accessible, or you reach a destination and the attraction is closed. Then comes transport related things like transport breakdown, or the driver is not driving the vehicle properly, it's an unsafe driving. Then maybe improper seats or window panes, etc. Late arrivals for that matter, or a guest not turning up, right? So these can be the transport related issues. Then we can have accommodation related issues like the facilities are not adequate, they are not as per promised. Then there is overbooking, hygiene issues, issues of cleanliness, maybe the voucher is not accepted, or guests may have a complaint of poor service. Then you may have food related issues like hygiene has always been talked about. Then the serving of the food is taking too much of time, poor service. You may have special food needs for customers like anybody is a vegan or anybody is a diabetic or suffering from some disease where they have to have special food. Then food is not up to the taste of the tourists, right? These can be some of the issues related to food. Then we have larger issues like flood, storms, or say infrastructure failure like power failure, disruption on the roads, rail tracks, strikes, rallies, band, crimes like abduction and so on. So as an escort, you be proactive and handle the above situations before they come. Try to check the hotels and restaurants if arrangements are proper or not. See if rooming list is ready and so are the rooms. Talk to restaurants en route and inform them about the party and its preferences. Then try to arrive early and check the coach, the condition of the coach. That means the seats are proper, they are not torn off, windows are properly done. Then equipments like your microphone or LCDs. And then obtain contact details of the drivers of the coach, the taxi, etc. Talk to them, remind them of arriving on time, follow up, brief them about the itinerary and other requirements well before the guests arrive to board. And have details of other necessary contact points like people at attractions, museums, shops, etc. Always carry useful phone numbers like the phone numbers of the police, the ambulance, the doctors, the tour operator, the coach drivers, the hotels and restaurant managers. These are some of the phone numbers that you should always have handy with you. Then sort out and remain prepared to face difficult and demanding situations. You have to hold your nerves, appear in control, look confident so that the guest can feel assured. Then brief the guests about the situation in case there is an emergency. Do not hide, assess the damage and likely loss, and share information with the guests. Be genuinely concerned about the guests and their welfare. Avoid blaming anyone in the group. Inform the tour company and the concerned authorities, especially the police. Welfare of the guests is of utmost importance. Do not advise or administer medication. Refer to a doctor. Then comes the report. Always report to the tour operators. It is advisable to write a short report about the incident, whatever has happened, with the relevant details, including the names, the time, the correct action taken, outcomes. All these are to be written in the report to the tour operator. Bottom line is that group is the primary responsibility of the tour operator, so inform them first. Follow their instructions. Do not run away. You are the touch point, you are the local support, and you are their hope, right? So never leave the injured unattended. Call for medical help wherever possible, and do whatever you can possibly do for the welfare of the organization and welfare of the guests at your disposal. Now, few emergency handling tricks, like for sickness or accident. Make sure that you know the ambulance emergency number in the country or the region where you are traveling. Bring a first aid kit as part of your travel gear and keep it at the top of your backpack for easy access. For urgent matters, call your insurance company for guidance. Then you may have a case of lost passport. Report it to the police or the local authorities and get a written report done. Then contact the nearest embassy or the consulate for the help of the guest. They are able to provide with a temporary passport and further guidance. If your country is not represented by any embassy or consulate in the region or the country you are visiting, you should call the foreign service in your home country and ask for guidance. A temporary passport in most cases only valid for homebound travel is issued, and it is not for onward travel. It is only for coming back to your home country. Then there might be incidents related to the death. In the unlikely event of death while traveling, example a family member or a travel companion, you must urgently report to the travel insurance company as well as your country's embassy or consulate general and the local authorities, that is the police. In case of credit card or mobile phone being lost, if your credit card or mobile phone is stolen, always know where to find the inactivation phone number. Your bank, your credit card issuer and mobile phone operator usually has a 24/7 emergency number for blocking the cards. So you should find that out and try and get the block or the SIM card blocked or the credit card blocked as well. Then loss of money. If you lose all your money, you have various options. Firstly is to contact your travel insurance company for guidance. Get the friends or families to wire money through services such as Western Union, or seek advice at the nearest embassy or consulate. It's a good idea to keep a little spare change in several places in your luggage for emergencies, but never store large sums than you can afford to lose in a second. Then comes the case of lost travel documents. If you lose your travel documents such as tickets or car rental vouchers or adventure vouchers, etc., don't worry too much. Most travel documents are electronically stored in today's world, so it is good to store or scan or copy your travel documents and send them to your email or store them on a USB memory stick. By doing so, you have easy access to retrieving all the documents. Then comes the case of, say, natural disasters or extreme weather. If your travel is interrupted by tropical storms, earthquakes, flooding, conflicts, armed conflicts, tsunamis, or any other such natural disaster, follow the guidelines of the local authorities and try not to panic. if you are visiting an area with a high frequency of extreme weather, make sure that you know exactly what to do in the event of evacuation and emergencies, etc. Always remember, as an escort, a safe traveler is always a prepared traveler. Now we'll discuss a little bit about responsible guiding. One of the most important duties of a tour guide is to conduct self and tour groups in a manner that tourism has minimal negative impacts on the host community and their environment. Cape Town Declaration of 2002 on responsible tourism minimizes the negative economic, environmental and social impacts, generates greater economic benefits for the local people, and enhances the well-being of the host communities, improves working conditions and access to the industry. It involves local people in decision making that affect their lives and life chances, makes positive contribution to the conservation of natural and cultural heritage, to the maintenance of the world's diversity, provides more enjoyable experiences for the tourists through more meaningful connections with local people and a greater understanding of local cultural, social and environmental issues. It provides access to physically challenged people and is currently and culturally sensitive, endangers respect between tourists and hosts, and builds local pride and confidence. Contribution to economic development of the community, encourage group to visit local eating joints selling local food and beverages, build shopping at local craft melas and itinerary, encourage guests to buy crafts that are made locally and to bargain responsibly, pay fair prices for goods and services purchased locally, promote donations to local cause and movements. Then comes the responsibility towards natural environment. For this, provide guests with the list of local natural resources that are being overutilized. Take care of guests as they meet and behave as and when they come across animals and birds. They must not chase or touch wild animals. Continuously advise them not to harm to vegetation and forests. Tell them to refrain from collecting natural resources, which may be illegal in many countries. Do not buy products made from coral, local plants or animals. Encourage them to buy crafts that are sustainably produced. Ask them, dispose rubbish carefully, say no to plastic, reuse drinking bottles, advise them to stay on the trails. Trails are designed to lessen the erosion caused by the transit of the visitors. Respect local culture, help your guests with access to local community, help them to understand the local community and experience for self. Advise your guests to respect local culture, people and customs. Ensure that tourists ask permission to take photographs or video. Request your guests to dress properly, behave in a manner which is supposed to be appropriate, especially in rural areas, religious sites and cultural sites. And inbound tourist has to be handled with much empathy and care. For international business, being an unfamiliar country may present him with culture shocks. Culture shock is personal disorientation of a person who may feel when experiencing an unfamiliar way of life due to movement to a new destination or to move to a place which has a different social background. Now, how to handle cultural differences? Cultural shock generally moves through 4 different phases. One is known as honeymoon phase, then the negotiation phase, then the adjustment phase, and lastly the acceptance phase. While individuals experience these stages differently and the impact and order of each stage varies widely, they do provide a guideline of how we adapt and cope with new cultures. The honeymoon phase, the first phase of culture shock, is often overwhelmingly positive, during which the travelers become infatuated with the language, the people, the food in their new surroundings. At this stage, the trip or move seems like a greatest decision ever made, an exciting adventure to say the least, which may stay on forever. On short trips, the honeymoon phase may take over the entire experience, as the later effects of cultural shock don't have time to set in. On longer trips, the honeymoon stage will usually phase out eventually. Examples of honeymoon phase, like in visiting a new country, an individual might fantasize enjoying the new food, the pace of life, the locals' way of life. So they associate with individuals who speak their language and who are polite to the foreigners. Now, guides play a key role over here. This period is full of observation and exciting new discoveries. Number 2, the negotiation phase. After some time, visitors get disillusioned. The difference between the visitor's own culture becomes apparent and may create anxiety. Excitement may eventually give way to unpleasant feelings of annoyance and resentment as one continues to experience unfavorable events that may be perceived as strange and offensive to one's cultural mindset. Then comes the language barriers. Out and out differences in public hygiene, traffic safety, food accessibility, quality may amplify detachment from the until recent exciting alien worlds. Tour guide's role is to educate the visitors about this difference and logical supplying reasons for the difference and presenting them as exotic. Number 3 is the adjustment phase. The tour guide's constant counseling and support may quickly take a visitor to the third phase. One feels familiar with the host, culture, and develops routines. Visitors feel empowered as they understand what to expect in most situations and how to handle them. A visitor develops problem-solving skills for dealing with local issues and begins to accept the realities of the host culture with a positive attitude. Then comes the last phase, that is the acceptance stage. Visitors are able to participate fully and comfortably in the host culture. They start enjoying, they do keep many traits from their earlier culture, but enjoy the difference as well. Now, a guide's constant support and help makes visitors transition to this phase. A tour guide may decipher cultural shock when the guest displays one of many of the following symptoms: disproportionate concern over cleanliness and health feelings, then feelings of helplessness and withdrawal, stereotyping host nationals, hostility towards host nationals, irritability, anger, psychological stress, reactions, then alienation, getting stuck on one thing, glazed stare, excessive sleep, and compulsive eating and drinking. So in the next part of this session, we will discuss about how to present yourself as a guide or an escort. So beginning with this, as an individual public presenter, a guide needs to take care of the minute details: the way of dressing, the body language, the style of communication, the manners and etiquettes, and of course the energy. Making a good first impression, exhibit professionalism, be on time, always remain cool, confident and composed, dress to the occasion, groom well, remain slightly aloof, be friendly but not intimate, watch yourself always, control self or bad temper but retain command, display self-confidence, assure guests that you are in control of the situation, and do not force yourself upon the group. How do you handle cultural differences? We have discussed a little bit in continuation to that. Every tourist or group of tourists is different. They come from different countries, different cultures, different religious followings, different socio-economic backgrounds, and so on. These differences shape their expectations on a holiday, and from a tour guide has to live up to the expectations of the tourists. Communication is an area that can be especially challenging for those uninformed about cultural differences. A simple nod of the head or smile may be interpreted as something you had not intended. So it is necessary to have an understanding of different cultures around the world. For example, around the world, a smile can really mean many emotions, not just happiness or pleasure as in the US. In Japan, people smile when they are sad, angry, confused and happy. So, Asians smile to show disagreement, anger, confusion and frustration. Some people from Japan and Asia will not smile for official photos, such as passport photos, because these are considered serious occasions and they do not want to look as though they are not taking the situation seriously. Eye contact varies around the world as well. If a staff member will not look you in the eye when speaking, do not take it as an insult. People from many Asian, Latin American cultures avoid direct eye contact as a sign of respect. It is not disrespect, but it is a sign of respect in Asian and Latin American cultures. So, culture refers to a group or community which shares common experiences that shape the way its members understand the world. It includes groups that we are born into, such as the race, the national origin, the gender, the class, or the religion. Dear learners, now in the last fag of this session, we will discuss about the tour guiding in India. How you can become a tour guide, what are the intricacies of guiding system in India. This is all I am going to tell you in the remaining part of this session. As per the guidelines of the selection and grant of guide license to the regional level tourist guides, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, there shall be 4 categories of regional level tourist guides as per the following details. General guide would be a regional level guide who would be authorized to work in their respective regions on a full-time basis. Then we have the general linguistic guide, linguists with fluency in foreign languages apart from English, such as French, German, Spanish, Korean, Russian, Japanese, Thai, Arabic, Hungarian, Polish, Hebrew, Chinese, etc. As identified by the competent authority from time to time, this would be approved under this category. Then you had expert guides. In order to encourage scholars, specialists, etc. in the fields of tourism, Indian history, architecture, culture, wildlife and other related fields of tourism, there would be a special category of regional level tourist guides known as the expert guides. And 4th category is expert linguistic guides. This category of regional level tourist guides would be scholars, specialists in the fields of tourism, Indian history, architecture, culture, archaeology, wildlife or other related fields of tourism, with of course fluency in foreign languages apart from English, such as French, German, Spanish, Korean, Russian, Japanese, Thai, Arabic, Hungarian, Polish, Hebrew, Chinese, etc. as identified by the competent authority from time to time would be approved under this category. With the Honorable Supreme Court's order, this regional level guide training program is now to be conducted by the Archaeological Survey of India under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Now coming to the eligibility part for it. For general guides, a graduate of a recognized university or holder of a 3-year degree in tourism or hospitality or diploma in archaeology from an institute recognized by UGC, that is the University Grants Commission, and Association of Indian Universities, that is AIU, or AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education, or any other state/central government body. Then fluency in English language is essential. Candidate should have studied English as a subject at least 10+2 level. Then eligibility for the general linguistic guide is a graduate of a recognized university, holder of a 3-year degree in tourism or hospitality, or a diploma in archaeology from an institute recognized by UGC, AIU, AICTE or any other state central government body. The candidate should have knowledge and fluency in a foreign language apart from English. The fluency shall be tested at the time of written examination, which shall be given in the foreign language selected by the candidate for which he or she has applied and aspires to become a linguist guide. Then comes eligibility for the expert guides, a doctorate in the field of tourism, Indian history, architecture, culture, archaeology, wildlife or other related fields of tourism. Then requirement is the fluency in English language, that is essential. Now comes the expert linguistic guides. One has to be a doctorate in the fields of tourism, Indian history, architecture, culture, archaeology, wildlife or other related fields of tourism. And of course, candidates should have knowledge and fluency in a foreign language apart from English in terms of reading, writing and speaking. The fluency shall be tested at the time of the written test, which shall be given in the foreign language selected by the candidate, for which he or she aspires to become an expert linguistic guide. Then we have various state level guides. The state level guides under the guidelines approved by any of the states or union territory administrations would also be eligible to apply for licenses to work as regional level guides, provided they qualify the common selection process based on it as detailed above for the selection of various categories of regional level guides. An examination, viva voce exam after the training. Age limit. The application should be at least 20 years of age. You have to give a domicile proof of the state where you belong to. Following are accepted as documentary proof for domicile. Number 1 is the certificate of residence proof by the competent authority. Number 2, the passport. Number 3, the voter identity card. Number 4, the ration card. Now, regions. The area of operation of the regional level guides would be East India, Northeast India, Western India Guide, Northern India Guide, Southern India Guide. And tour guides in India need to have knowledge about travel insurance, loss of passport, baggage or documents, health problems, flight cancellation or delay, emergency medical evacuation, fraudulent charges and so on. Now, to tell you more about it, we also have the concept of tourist police. Delhi is an important tourist destination and also a transit point where from international and national tourists make future journeys to various other tourist places. So, tourists at times face several problems related to transport, accommodation, getting tourism related information, and many times they fall victim to cheats and touts, losing their belongings and valuables. To help the tourists, the tourist police of Delhi Police shall be deployed at following 10 important places locations. These are IGI Airport, New Delhi, Hazrat Nizamuddin Railway Station, Rajghat, Red Fort, Qutub Minar, Palika Bazaar, Janpath, India Gate, Paharganj Railway Station, etc. Various other states in India like Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, etc. Also have the concept of tourist police. Now, the objective of the tourist police is to avoid harassment by the tourists in the hands of the touts, to help tourists in getting transport and lodging at appropriate rates without much hassles at railway stations, airports, bus terminals, important tourist places, malls, etc. The safety and security against cheats and bag lifters, etc. at these places is also one of the prime concerns of tourist police. Containing crimes like pickpocketing, eve teasing, molestation, drugging, etc. Then providing information related to the places where they are posted and adjoining tourist places. This is all what is supposed to be done by a tourist police. After the regional level guides, state level guides and of course the add-on, that is tourist police, the Ministry of Tourism in collaboration with the Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, that is IITTM, has started off an Incredible India Tourist Facilitator Training Program. Incredible India Tourist Facilitator, that is IITF, is a certification program and it is a digital initiative of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India for the citizens of India to become a part of the booming tourism industry. It is an online program where one can learn about tourism at their own time, at their own space, their own paths and their own pace. The successful completion of this program would enable the learner to become a certified tourist facilitator of the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. This digital initiative is in collaboration with the Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, IITTM. Now, what are the things that you require to apply for this? You have to log into the website www.iitf.gov.in. Once you have there, you have to log in and create a password for yourself. The things to keep handy before logging in is your photograph, your own photograph, then age proof. You require a copy of the 10th pass certificate or passport, then address proof. You can have Aadhaar card, passport, driving license, ration card, voter ID card, etc. Then educational qualification certificates keep handy. proof of caste certificate for SC/ST candidates, and for the refresher course existing RLGTP license has to be kept ready. Fee exemption is only for ST and ST candidates. The toll free number for this IITF is 1800-180-6479. I will repeat, 1800-180-6479. Fees for the basic course is rupees 2000 and fees for the refresher course is nil. You do not have to pay anything for the refresher course. So, to sum up, guiding and escorting are the more exciting features of tourism profession. Guides and escorts are in fact an amalgamation of several independent roles. Thus, they retain a part of these individual roles such as that of an entertainer, an educator, a public relations man in their region or place, and they should never be stereotyped into one exclusively. They retain an independent identity of their own, and with this we will come to the end of this session. Happy learning, dear learners. Jai Hind. Thank you.